today I wanted to talk about a little thing called Donald Trump's indictment. I think it's fun to talk about these things. It looks like he's at it again. He's they've see what happened is Jack Smith is a Republican that was appointed as special counsel, and now they've said you can't prosecute the president because what he was doing in official acts as the president is immune, says the Supreme Court, much to the chagrin of many. I mean, what does that even mean? Does that mean when a person's president and acting as president, they can just hire somebody to kill somebody else? Does that make it acceptable? Is everyone cool with that? Seems a weird thing to be cool with. I'm not cool with it. So what Jack Smith has done, he's switched it up a little bit. He's had to say, okay, some of these things, like him talking to the Justice Department while trying to flip the election for his favor, although in any other world would be completely illegal, because we used to have our laws used to be the same for everybody. Doesn't matter if you're the president, no one is above the law. That used to be what we would say. We chant it on the mountaintops. We'd say no one is above the law, and yet here we are, president's above the law. So Jack Smith, this Republican special counsel, he's had to become a little more a little creative, and not too creative. I mean, after all, he's still just a prosecutor. But the Fed files new indictment in Trump January 6th case, keeping charges intact but narrowing the allegations. So still, the charges remain the same. The allegations have to be a bit more laser focused, so it's a little riskier, because normally you try to be like, okay, this is what we think you did. Boom, we think all of this shit. We're gonna throw the book at you. But they're saying some things are immune. So the big stuff is who is talking to whom, when, and in what role. And I think this is really important and awesome to hear because, well, I like it when people are held accountable for their actions, because in my lifetime, I've been held accountable for my mistakes. Every time I've gotten caught with my pants down, I've had to pay the piper. Shouldn't everybody, when they get in trouble and get caught doing something they shouldn't have been doing, shouldn't they have to pay the piper? Every time I've had a speeding ticket, I couldn't get out of it. I tried. I showed up to court and tried to get out of those speeding tickets. I never got out of one, not even one. I always had to pay up, even when it was really hard for me, when I was just a kid and I didn't have any money and I had to go 8 hours of driving school. I still had to do it. You still got to pay up. Still got to. If you can't do the time, don't do the crime. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, they're indicting his ass, and let's just see what they caught up with JD Vance outside of his plane. I think this might be Jeffrey Epstein's plane. I can't remember which one's Jeffrey Epstein's plane. They have been flying around in Jeffrey Epstein's plane, which has been really fun. Let's see what he says.
Can you respond to the superseding indictments against former President Donald Trump?
Yeah, I haven't read the whole thing, but it looks like Jack Smith doing more of what he does, which is filing
His job, doing more what he does. His job. His job is to catch bad guys and prosecute them.
these absurd lawsuits in an effort to influence the election. I mean, the one thing
He's Republican. He probably doesn't really want to influence the election, but I like that it's all to influence the election. I don't think so. You know who influenced the election? Director Comey. I met Comey. He's really tall. He's taller than me. He's 6'8". I always like to tell about him I always like to say that when I talk about Mr. Comey. And remember, right before the 2016 elections, he's like, "We're reopening the case against Hillary Clinton about these emails," and it changed a lot. It was just 5 days before the election. It was a big deal, man. A lot of people changed their mind, just didn't show up. People were upset. That influenced the election, and then he got fired by Trump. Yeah, don't help Trump too much. He'll end up trying to kill you, just like he did his last VP. I don't think that Vance realizes the trouble he's in.
thing that I did see, which I felt was just classic lipstick on a pig, is
That's speciesist.
of course, the reason the Supreme Court threw out his lawsuit is because they said it implicated the president's official acts. Of course,
Okay, so the official acts. This is really important. Official acts. Are these official acts? If you are, yeah, sure, you're the president, but if you are also the if you're a candidate, are you acting as your official role as president, or are you acting in your role as candidate? And when you call up Mike Pence and you're like, hey Mikey, we got to put some fake electoral ballots, and but we're not going to certify the election even though it's totally valid. When you do that, are you acting as the president, or are you acting as a candidate? And that is something I think very interesting.
Force, which the president has immunity in conducting those official acts. And yet,
Official act.
Jack Smith tried to redefine Mike Pence as from the vice president to the running mate, as if somehow changing those words in an indictment undercuts the fact that Mike Pence is still the sitting vice president.
Words. What's a word mean here? And you see, the thing is, JD, the whole law system, basically the Constitution, is just words. It's all just words, man. That's what law is, you dumb. That's what law is. This is why the Second Amendment has been interpreted differently over the years based on our understanding of words. That's why the 14th Amendment seems to be up for grabs every time a different court comes in. 14th Amendment seems to be, I don't know, does the 14th Amendment protect women's rights to seek medical attention? We don't know anymore. The 12th Amendment used to be like, so the 13th, 14th, the 12th, 13th, and 14th, right? Those were the big ones that were supposed to be like free the slaves, make sure that black people are treated okay, and then equal protection under the law. 14th Amendment, that's the big one. You gotta look out for that one, because people use it all the time because of their understanding of words. Is that a Trump plane? Yeah, but you know what? You can look this up, and I'm not joking at all. This is not a joke. Trump literally bought the old plane from Jeffrey Epstein. He's using the plane that Jeffrey Epstein used to fly his little girls around in. And this is not a joke. It's this totally real. Yes, it has a new paint job, but you can't change the serial number. Look it up. It's totally true. It's gross. Yes. Have you ever thought maybe you shouldn't be, certain places have bad juju? I would say that Jeffrey Epstein's plane counts as one of those places that has bad juju. It should be put in a haunted museum out in Las Vegas. They should put it out there as a creepy, scary place to go. Like, they should charge admission for people who want to feel creepy. That's what JD Vance is flying around in. I think I can't tell which plane is which, but one of the planes they own is absolutely, in fact, Jeffrey Epstein's um, human trafficking plane. You can't make it up. It's it's so freaking weird.
And it still directly implicates the president's official act. So
how would it affect? Okay, so this is the thing. Is it a presidential's official act? Obviously, Jack Smith, a lawyer, thinks that he's got a case. We're going to go back up, man. Federal indictment coming right back at you, boy. You know what? Maybe it'll be JD Vance versus Harris. Vance versus Harris. Maybe Shady JD will have to be looking around for a running mate. I hope you got a plan B there, buddy. Not that plan B. You and your friends are trying to make plan B illegal. Don't worry. I'm sure your Republican friends got somebody for you. I mean, there's you guys got a deep bench of really superstar candidates. Clearly, I mean, that's how they got you. Um, deep bench for sure. Yeah. So, what do you think? Do you think that this guy was acting as president when he asked his running mate to commit treason? Do you think that he was acting as the president of the United States when he did that, or was he acting as candidate Trump? I love the fact that there are still people who are fighting for this and who are creative enough to and try and make it happen. Come on. The guy broke every law that we have. He broke every norm that we have. He was impeached twice. He shouldn't be allowed anywhere near the seat of power. He did, in fact, lead a violent coup against the United States of America in order to interrupt the peaceful transfer of power, one of the hallmarks of our democracy, one of the most important things that sets us apart from other nations. One of the things when people made constitutions that look like ours, like in Germany, for example, one of the things that they pointed at, they said, look at those Americans. They figured it out. They got that peaceful transfer of power thing. That's pretty badass. Maybe we could get us some of that. What do you think? Do you think he should be indicted as candidate Trump? What do you think? I want to know.